All right, let's dive into some Thanksgiving books for kids. This time, we're taking inspiration from a preschool teacher's YouTube video. She recommends some pretty cool books, ones
Mhm.
that go way beyond, the typical turkey and pilgrim stuff,
Yeah.
our mission, to uncover some hidden gems,
Okay.
books that celebrate gratitude, diversity, maybe even challenge a few assumptions about Thanksgiving.
Sounds fun.
So consider this your guide to picking out some meaningful Thanksgiving reads for the little ones.
I love it. Children's books can be so powerful. They introduce these complex themes and values, but in a way that really resonates with kids.
Exactly. And one theme that's always front and center at Thanksgiving is gratitude. I found a couple of books that really hit that theme in a charming way. The first one that grabbed my attention was Around the Table that Granddad built. It follows a family getting ready for their Thanksgiving meal. But what makes it special is each family member contributes something to the table. Like mom sewed the napkins, grandma brings out her special silverware, they even use squash from their own garden. What do you think about that approach?
That's interesting. It's not just about the food itself, right? It's subtly highlighting the love and tradition in each part of the meal. For kids, that can be a really powerful way to understand family rituals, those shared experiences.
Yeah.
It might even spark some cool conversations with your kids about your own family's Thanksgiving traditions.
It's like a history lesson wrapped up in a warm and fuzzy story. Oh, and speaking of unique traditions, we are grateful. Atzali Heliga is another book that celebrates gratitude, but from a totally different cultural angle. It focuses on Cherokee traditions of gratitude. And what really drew me in was the author. Tracy Sorrell is actually a citizen of the Cherokee Nation, so it has this really authentic voice.
Oh, that's important. It's so important to show kids diverse cultures and perspectives.
Yeah.
And a story based on lived experience, that's one of the best ways to do that.
Right.
We Are Grateful follows a Cherokee family throughout the year, highlighting all the beautiful celebrations in their culture. It's a good reminder that Thanksgiving, even though it's often shown from a very specific viewpoint, it can have different meanings for different cultures.
Absolutely. And did you know Atzali Heliga is the Cherokee word for gratitude?
I did not.
Yeah, it's really neat. I love how this book introduces kids to different languages and customs and helps them understand the wider world.
Makes you think, right? What other ways are there to express gratitude beyond the traditional Thanksgiving story?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Now, shifting gears from gratitude to action. The Can Do Thanksgiving really stood out to me. It's about this little girl saving up to buy a can of peas, just one can for a food drive. But it goes further than that. She and her classmates then volunteer at a local church to serve Thanksgiving dinner to people in need. Pretty powerful message, don't you think?
Oh, for sure. It's simple but profound for kids. It shows them even small actions can make a difference, like saving up a little bit of money.
Yeah.
It also introduces the idea of food insecurity, but in a gentle way, appropriate for their age,
Right.
encourages empathy and compassion.
And the illustrations are really something too. Very inclusive, showing diversity in faces and abilities.
Oh, nice.
So it really drives home the point that everyone can help.
I love that. It reinforces the idea that everyone has something to offer, no matter their background. So we've got books about gratitude and taking action. Now, there are also some that challenge the typical Thanksgiving norms in these playful, thought-provoking ways, like Gracias, the Thanksgiving turkey. It's about a boy, Miguel, who refuses to let his pet turkey become dinner.
Oh, wow. Imagine the Thanksgiving dinner chaos.
Yeah,
If a kid wouldn't eat turkey because they befriended the bird,
right.
that's basically the story.
It takes that scenario and turns it into this hilarious and heartwarming tale.
I love it.
It cleverly highlights empathy towards animals, while also subtly questioning that traditional Thanksgiving menu.
Yeah.
It's a good way to start conversations about where our food comes from and how different families celebrate. Maybe even introduce vegetarianism to kids.
I like how Gracias, the Thanksgiving turkey, uses humor to address a potentially touchy subject. And speaking of challenging norms, No Turkey for Thanksgiving also caught my eye. It's about this Vietnamese-American girl who's worried what her classmates will think when they find out her family doesn't eat turkey for Thanksgiving.
That's relatable. This story normalizes those different family traditions, helps kids navigate those potentially awkward social situations.
For sure.
It teaches them there's no one right way to celebrate, and that diversity is something to embrace,
That's so important.
especially for kids who might feel different during the holidays.
Oh, I can relate to that. My family is Italian-American, and we always had lasagna instead of turkey.
Really?
Yeah. You'd be surprised how many kids thought that was weird.
I can imagine.
But it was our tradition, and I loved it. These books really show the beauty of cultural diversity, how different families make Thanksgiving their own.
Yeah. Thanksgiving is really about gratitude, togetherness, and sharing, no matter what specific traditions we follow.
Absolutely. While some books challenge those Thanksgiving norms, others offer a look into the reality many families face during the holiday. Like Saturday at the Food Pantry. It follows a young girl named Molly who relies on a local food pantry. What are your thoughts on that one?
It's a sensitive look at food insecurity, which affects so many families, including kids.
Yeah, it's a tough reality.
By sharing Molly's story, we can help children develop empathy and understanding.
It's a moving story, especially when Molly sees a classmate at the food pantry and feels embarrassed.
Oh, yeah.
It shows how complicated things can be for kids facing these challenges, and it normalizes seeking help when you need it. It's also a good reminder that we might not know the full story about the families around us, and that compassion and understanding are always important.
Exactly. Saturday at the food pantry gently encourages empathy and discourages judgment. Those are valuable lessons for all kids, no matter their age. It's important to think about the historical side of Thanksgiving, too, especially when we're talking to kids.
That's so true. And we've got a couple of books on our list that do a great job with that.
Yeah.
Like The Very First Americans by Kara Ashrose. It's not specifically about Thanksgiving, but it gives this beautiful and important look at Native American history and culture.
I'm glad you brought that one up. It's really crucial to acknowledge Native American history and experiences, especially during a holiday like Thanksgiving. This book celebrates the richness of their heritage and contributions, reminding us that their stories are a vital part of American history.
And the way Ashrose tells the story is just captivating. The language is lyrical and the illustrations are stunning. You really feel like you're experiencing history through art. Now, another book that digs into the historical narrative of Thanksgiving, but from a specific point of view, is Squanto's Journey, The Story of the First Thanksgiving by Joseph Bruchac. What I find fascinating about this one is that it's told from Squanto's perspective, the Patuxet man who plays such a key role in the first Thanksgiving.
It's a great way to get a more accurate and nuanced account of what happened. It goes beyond those simplified stories that kids often hear, acknowledging the complex relationship between the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag people.
Yeah, it doesn't shy away from the tough parts of history, but it also highlights the importance of communication and understanding between different cultures. It's a great way to introduce kids to a more balanced view of this historical event. Okay, now let's lighten things up a bit. We have to talk about Turkey Trouble by Wendy Silvano.
Yeah.
It's a classic for a reason.
Oh, Turkey Trouble. Such a fun and engaging book. It tackles the whole Thanksgiving dinner idea in such a playful way.
Right.
The story is about this turkey who's trying so hard to disguise himself to avoid becoming the main course. Kids just love his silly antics and all the crazy disguises.
It's perfect for reading aloud, guaranteed to get some giggles. But I also appreciate that it touches on things like problem solving and resourcefulness. Like the turkey is using his brains and creativity to get out of a sticky situation. What do you think? Can humor like this help kids develop empathy for animals, even those we usually associate with food?
I think so, definitely. By showing the turkey as a character with his own feelings and fears, the book encourages kids to see things from a different perspective. It opens up that conversation about our relationship with animals and the choices we make about what we eat.
I like that. Speaking of different perspectives, The Thankful Book by Todd Parr offers a really simple but profound exploration of gratitude. Parr's books are always a hit with young kids. His bright, bold illustrations and straightforward language make them super accessible and engaging.
The Thankful Book is such a sweet reminder to appreciate all those little things in life, from hugs to rainbows to silly songs.
It's true.
It encourages mindfulness and appreciation for those everyday joys that we often miss.
It's like a gentle nudge to pause and notice the good stuff around us. And on that note, we can't forget to mention My Heart Fills with Happiness by Monique Gray Smith.
Oh, yes. This book is a celebration of Indigenous joy and resilience. The illustrations are beautiful and the words are simple yet powerful, highlighting all those things that bring happiness. Family, community, nature, tradition.
It's really moving. That focus on joy and resilience, especially in the context of Indigenous cultures, which have faced so many challenges and hardships.
Absolutely.
It's a reminder that even in the face of adversity, there's always beauty and happiness to be found.
It shows the strength and spirit of Indigenous people and encourages readers to appreciate their cultures and traditions.
Before we get to our last set of books, I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier about having those open and honest conversations with kids about Thanksgiving. How do you think these books can help with that?
Thanksgiving gives us this great opportunity to talk about gratitude, history, cultural diversity.
Yeah.
And these books can be a starting point for those discussions. They get kids thinking critically and encourage them to question the stories they might have heard before.
So it's not just about reading the words, it's about using them to spark deeper understanding and reflection.
Exactly. And remember, those conversations might not always be easy, but they're so important for building empathy and respect and a more nuanced view of the world.
Welcome back. We've got some really special books lined up for this last part, ones that'll warm your heart and make you think about Thanksgiving in new ways.
I'm ready.
Okay, I think you're going to love this next one. The Thank You Letter by Jane Cabrera. It's about this young girl who decides to write thank you letters to everyone and everything she's grateful for.
Oh, wow.
Such a simple but powerful idea, right?
It is, yeah. Expressing gratitude, even in a small way, can have such a big impact.
Totally.
This book might inspire you and your kids to think about all the things, big or small, that you're thankful for.
Exactly. It's a reminder that gratitude can be expressed in creative ways. It doesn't have to be just saying the words. And speaking of creativity, Balloons Over Broadway, The True Story of the Puppeteer of Macy's Parade by Melissa Sweet. It's a must-read for anyone who's ever been amazed by those giant balloons.
Oh, that sounds fun.
It is.
It's a cool mix of history and art.
Yeah.
It tells the story of Tony Sarg, the guy behind those iconic giant balloons in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Amazing, right?
It's not just about balloons, though. It's about the power of imagination at making your ideas come to life.
It reminds you that even the biggest spectacle starts somewhere small, and that even crazy ideas can become reality if you have enough passion and put in the work. Now, for a book that really captures the heart of Thanksgiving, we have This is the Feast. I love how it celebrates all the different ways families celebrate Thanksgiving, highlighting those universal themes that connect us all.
It's a beautiful way to show the inclusiveness of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You see families from all backgrounds and cultures coming together to share a meal and express gratitude, showing that the spirit of Thanksgiving goes beyond any one tradition.
I know. And the illustrations in This is the Feast are just gorgeous. They really capture the warmth and joy of Thanksgiving gatherings. Okay, for our final recommendation, we have a classic folktale. It's been a favorite for generations, Stone Soup by Marcia Brown.
Stone Soup, a classic. It's got so much to offer.
It does.
It's about these travelers who trick a village into sharing their food by pretending to make soup from stones.
I love it.
It's a clever way to teach kids about community, sharing, and the amazing things that can happen when we work together.
Such a good lesson. It reminds us that even when things are scarce, generosity and collaboration can create something truly special. Sometimes the best feasts are the ones we make together.
I agree.
So, as we wrap up our Thanksgiving book journey,
What stands out to me is how each story, in its own way, offers a perspective on gratitude, history, culture, and the human spirit.
it's been an enriching exploration.
Definitely.
We hope you found some new favorites to share with the little ones in your life, and we encourage you to use these books to start meaningful conversations and create your own Thanksgiving traditions, centered around stories, gratitude, and connection.
Remember, the joy of reading and sharing stories, it's a gift that lasts all year round.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.